Hi Libra, welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your August 2025 tarot reading. Thank you to those of you who have liked, viewed, shared, and subscribed to the channel. I appreciate all of that. Those of you new to the channel, horse obeying from us, it's a Celtic cross spread as always, and I also pulled the 4 agreements and wisdom the oracle card for you guys. We're actually going to start the reading off by rolling those astrology dice we have in front of us to get an idea of where your folks should be as far as that goes. Alright, we have 6. So 6th house energy for you guys is Pisces. Currently we have the North Node there, so yeah, it's certainly possible you guys have been making adjustments to that area of life, but 6th house in general points to work, health, and daily routines. Alright, we have Aquarius. So for you guys, Aquarius is actually your 5th house of romance, creativity, children. We currently have Pluto there, retrograde, and on top of that, we also will have a full moon in Aquarius around the 9th of August, so definitely could see some shifting energy in that area. And we have Mercury. So Mercury is currently retrograde, and it's actually in Leo, which is your 11th house of groups, friends, hopes, and wishes. So yeah, definitely be some communication with friends, maybe reevaluating who you interact with, what groups you are currently interacting with, but we'll keep all that in mind as we go through the main spread. Right. In the main situation position, we have the 8 of Wands, Sagittarius energy, and challenging that we have the 4 of Wands, Aries energy. So I could see this playing out a couple different ways, because these cards by themselves are both fine, but to see this challenging the 8 of Cups, it could be, 8 of Wands, rather, could be saying a couple different things. For some of you, this could just be saying that maybe you feel like you're a little overwhelmed right now, right? So maybe there's just too many things going on and you would actually prefer to be pared down some so you could actually enjoy more of what you're doing. That's one way it could be coming across. For others of you, this could just be saying that maybe you're having a lot of discussions around how to get to this ultimate goal, right? So that could be what's going on there. So let me just give you a super generic example, since this is a relationship house for you, the Aries energy, and this is your house of communication. Could just be as simple as, let's say, if this is you putting your dating profile out there, right? Because ultimately you'd like to be in a one-to-one committed partnership, but in order to get there, maybe you're going through a bunch of different dating profiles and seeing who fits, right, who doesn't, things along those lines there. So that could be the challenge, right? We're like, okay, a lot of candidates here, but no one's really fitting the mold that you would like. But let me see what else comes to mind with this. Oh, and another thing that comes to mind is this old saying that says, when all is said and done, more is said than done, right? So you might feel like there's a lot of discussions around things, but nothing actually developing into anything concrete. So definitely a lot of different themes going on there, but I'm sure one of those will probably resonate with you. In the foundation position, we have the sun. So I would say at the very least, this is an indicator that you've probably been optimistic through this situation, right? So I feel like this is saying that you went into it with bright, optimistic viewpoints around what could take place. The only negative there, rather, would be potentially there could be an energy of being a little bit naive around the situation as well. So maybe that's what's been at play there, right? Maybe you expected it to be a little bit easier than it's actually been in reality. But that's what I see with that. All right, in the past position, we have the 6 of Wands, so Leo energy here. So yeah, this could just be saying that in the past you might have been feeling pretty confident, right? Maybe things were flowing smoothly for you at one point, so maybe that's part of the problem too, right? So maybe things were flowing very well for a while now. You might be getting a little overwhelmed to where you want to scale things back some now. In the present position, we have the High Priestess. So yeah, I feel like this is saying that ultimately tapping into your intuition this month would be key in actually helping you move forward. There we go. Couldn't get it to focus for a bit. But yeah, and this usually to me is a Piscean energy as well, and we did see that come up in your dice, given that that's your 6th house. So yeah, if this is just around how to make adjustments to your routine to help possibly reach your goals as well, right? Then I could just be saying intuitively, tuning into how best to do that might be key for you this month. All right. In the near future position, we have the Seven of Pentacles. So yeah, so you could just be reaching a point of exhaustion to an extent, right? To where you feel like maybe the work you're putting in just isn't giving you the same level of return that it did in the past, right? So maybe that's what's going on as well, where you might feel like, okay, at one point the work might have been rewarding, right? But now as you feel like you're putting in more, you're getting less for it. So that could have you questioning if you want to continue down that path as well. All right. In the position of your influence in the situation, we have the Three of Wands. So more Aries energy here. So yeah, I can definitely see this naturally linking with that Four of Wands energy. So on the positive end, if you really do feel like you're comfortable in this energy, then I would say that yeah, this isn't necessarily a bad energy to be in because it's gonna display patience, right? We're like, okay, I am willing to wait through, right, and sift through these things, right? These Eight of Wands to get to that Four of Wands that I would ultimately want, right? So yeah, maybe you're going to be a little overwhelmed in the short term, but with the long term goal of having the stability that you'd like. But for Herbsy, I will say if you're not necessarily comfortable in this energy, then maybe the key there would be to be a little bit more proactive. All right. In the environment position, we have the Queen of Pentacles. So for some of you, this could represent your energy, right? To where you do feel very comfortable with what you have, right? So maybe there's a bit of a reluctance to let go and be a bit more open, right? Because there could be a fear of losing, right? Of feeling like you're going to experience a setback, but at the same time wanting things to slow down to an extent. So it's definitely an interesting contrast there. But for others of you, this can represent someone else as well. So let's just say going back to that example of the dating profile stuff, right, where it could just be one of those things where maybe the problem would be if you're going that route to look for a partner, right, you might not necessarily find someone that meshes with you, whereas people who are more likely to want that kind of commitment might not be as likely to engage in a dating profile kind of thing, right? So that could be the tricky part where it's like, okay, the type of person I'm looking for wouldn't be found in this environment, so what do you do at that point, right? And then that's where it could be coming down to saying you might have to be a little bit more proactive in seeking out what you want in those cases. All right. In the hopes or fears position, we have the Strength card. So for a lot of you, I'm going to think this is more of a hope. This is the Major Arcana card for Leo. I feel like this is saying that ultimately you're just also trying to be careful that you're not going to make a decision based on the wrong reasons, right? So if it's more of a romantic connection type of situation, you want to make sure that you're not making the decision off of a more lust-based energy, right? If it's more of a financial decision, right, you're going to hope that it's not more of an ego-based thing, right? Where, oh, I want this thing because it's going to fulfill my ego versus what you actually would want at a soul level. So it just be one of those things there where you're hoping to make the right decision for the right reason. All right. In the outcome position, we have the Four of Cups. So yeah, so this is Cancerian energy here, and it could just be going on with what I was saying with that Three of Wands, which is to say for some of you, you know, if you are already in that energy where you just feel like you're getting offers of things that you don't want coming your way repeatedly, right? And you're just in this Three of Wands, it could just be saying, well, then the call there could be for you to be a little bit more proactive in seeking out what you do want, right? As opposed to just waiting and getting more and more of what you don't want. All right. And bottom of the deck, we have Justice. So this is actually the Major Arcana card for your sign. So this could just be pointing to a timeline to say that maybe by the time we get to your season, right, which would be here starting toward the end of September, you might be feeling like things are a lot more balanced out, like things are flowing more smoothly the way you would like them to. But for others of you, this could just be saying that you also have the power to create the balance that you're seeking in a situation as well. All right, from the Four Agreements deck, we have Don't Take Anything Personally. And it says Ignore the Opinions of Others. All right, it says, whatever people do, feel, think, or say, don't take it personally. Others are going to have their own opinion according to their belief system, so whatever they think whatever they think about you is not about you, but it is about them. So definitely an interesting message there, right? Especially given that the Mercury retrograde we have going on right now is in your house of friendships, right? So if you might feel like someone's expressing an opinion that rubs you the wrong way, hopefully that message would resonate with you in that regard. All right, and from the Wisdom Oracle deck, we have Unfinished Symphony. There's the artwork, and the number is 10. Let's see what this has to say. All right, Essential Meanings says unfinished business, an incomplete lesson, lack of closure, the need to make amends. The Oracle's message. This is a time to tie up loose ends as you near the completion of a cycle or project and mastery of a lesson or skill. Before you can move forward, it's important that you come to terms with where you are now. Practice radical acceptance. Take inventory so that emotional and psychological closure can occur and the answers you seek will be found. You can't move forward if you are leaving things unfinished. Reflect on what has passed so that the symphony can finally end on a high note. So definitely an interesting message there, right? And then to me that would align with what I was saying as far as for some of you, if you feel like you're just stuck in a cycle and getting more and more of what you don't want, then you might just need to be a little bit more proactive around the situation. The relationship message says moving on is difficult when love lingers, things are left unsaid, and you haven't had the opportunity for closure in your relationship and in your heart. You can still feel bound up in relationships when closure is denied you. It's important to achieve this for yourself. Write that letter, make that call, or have that conversation over a cup of coffee. For peace of mind, accept matters as they are, make amends if need be, and declare your feelings, even if only to yourself. Be clear about what was left unresolved, and close the door on the past so you can set yourself free. Only then can new love blossom. So yeah, definitely a positive message there, because as far as when it comes to a Mercury retrograde, right, which like we said, we did see the Mercury energy come up in your dice, that can be a good time to actually revisit something from the past for the purposes of closure, for clearing the air, for getting a better understanding of what might have gone wrong in the past. All right, the prosperity message says make sure you complete projects now before starting new ones. Perhaps you have created something special that will increase your sense of abundance and bring you opportunities for wealth. However, if you don't see it through, it won't add up to anything but more clutter. Now is the time to put your nose to the grindstone and complete the tasks that have accumulated. Pay your bills, sign the documents, do your filing, hand in an assignment, complete a work of art. Tie up loose ends so you can move forward with the surety, knowing that you're on the prosperous path and feeling refreshed and excited about the future. So yeah, definitely an interesting message there, right? Because again, like I said, it seems to align with what I was saying, where you just might need to be a little bit more proactive. I mean, it doesn't look like you're necessarily all that far from where you want to be. But like I said, if you do feel like you're just stuck and ending up in these repeat cycles, I feel like it's just calling you to be a little bit more proactive to put that cycle to an end. So whatever resonate with you guys, we'll wrap up there, and I'll see you all next month. All right, bye.